All right, for today's video review, we're going to be continuing our look at the three figures that make up the Beast Wars Combiner Tripredacus. Today, specifically, we're going to be taking a look at C-Clamp, the lobster here. And yeah, if you haven't seen it already, I did do a video on Cicadacon the other day, and then next is going to be Ramhorn, and then I'll be taking a look at Tripredacus proper. But for now, we're just going to be taking a look at C-Clamp. And yeah, he's a pretty decent figure as well. I still think that I like Cicadacon slightly better, but C-Clamp is a very close second. Has a very nice lobster mode here with a lot of really nice texture on there. He's done in this kind of like slightly translucent brown plastic, which is a little bit strange, but not terrible. And again, I still feel like the purple kind of sticks out here. It was like the weirdest color on Cicadacon as well. And, you know, usually I'm a sucker for purple and I don't usually mind it being in weird places, but I just feel like maybe this team would have seemed a little bit more solid if they, you know, had ditched the weird unifying color of purple and just had their own individual colors that made more sense for their beast modes. But yeah, no, pretty decent lobster mode here. In terms of comparisons, here he is with Kingdom Sideswipe just for that standard size deluxe, and here he is with Kingdom Waspinator for a modern Beast Wars bug. I guess technically C-Clamp is not a bug, he's a crustacean because he turns into a lobster, but they're kind of like sea bugs, so still works. But yeah, to get on to transformation, he's pretty simple transformation just to get from here to his robot mode. Basically, you want to take the entire lower half, rotate it around, and then his legs are underneath here, making up the tail. And this is also where his Predacon rub symbol is, right back there. Then you just rotate it forward at the knees here, and then unfold the feet and the heels just like that. And then you want to split this entire section with the head, and it'll just unpeg from itself and then come down like this. You kind of want to rotate these forward and then take the bug legs here, or the, you know, lobster legs, and then fold them up like this so they sit over his shoulders. Now, the articulation of his shoulders is going to be highly affected by the orientation of these ball socket joints, and you can kind of rotate them whichever way you need them to be. But yeah, if we just have it like, you know, kind of up at an angle like this, I think that gives it the most versatility. And then you kind of rotate around his arms here so they're facing down. He's just going to have the lobster claws as his hands, and then open up this chest piece here just like that, flip out his robot mode head, and then close that back up. And there we have C-Clamp in his robot mode. And yeah, he's got a really cool aesthetic. I really like the way he looks. I think that the one thing I'm not crazy about with him is the, you know, the fact that he sort of has like the gorilla arms thing going on. But because he's got these big lobster claws, I feel like he kind of gets away with it. In terms of articulation for him, the head is on a ball joint. It's a little bit far forward. Like you can see, it's pretty much under his chin there. So when you rotate his head, it does kind of shift the orientation of his head. The shoulders here, like I said, with these ball joints, you can use these to be upward joints, kind of backward butterfly joints. It's kind of annoying to like shift around the socket so they're oriented how you need them to be, but they are pretty versatile, and he doesn't necessarily need those joints regardless, but that's how those work. You just have to orient them specifically how you want them to be, you know, faced. Like you could use them as backward butterfly joints or use them as upward joints. He also has obviously a swivel there from the ball joint, and then the socket itself swivels so that you can reorient it. This joint here can swivel up like that, and there's also a hinge out to the side. The elbows are on ball joints, so they can rotate around like that and give him a bicep swivel. The claws can fold in and out like that and open up. And then he also has his weapons inside here, where you just fold out these pieces, and he has these like extra claws in each of his crab claws, which is kind of a neat look. I don't know if it's, you know, totally necessary, but, you know, it's cool still, and it's pretty unobtrusive too, since you can just fold those away. He also has a waist swivel for transformation. Hips are on ball joints that can go forward, back only about that far because this piece is just static and in place. You can't really move it out of the way. And then out to the side, he's got ball joints for his knees, which gives him a thigh swivel and a little over 90 degrees of bend at the knee. And then both the feet and the heels can kind of swivel up and down, but I don't know that that's like totally useful. You can kind of like reorient the heels so that the feet tiptoe down like that to kind of adjust the fake a forward and back. ankle tilt, but I don't think that either of those joints are really strong enough to hold it in any super weird poses. So mostly you just have him standing flat on the ground, but still, I think he looks pretty cool. It is a little annoying that because of the way it works for transformation, the screw holes for the crab claws kind of end up facing forward on in his robot mode, but it would either be that or the lobster mode, and I'd rather the extra weird little techie stuff be on the robot mode. I believe that was also the case with these pieces. I think I ended up swapping those so that they could face the other direction, just because they get the most articulation like this, and then, have the screw holes facing the correct direction. But I believe originally they were kind of flipped the other way. I can't totally remember, but yeah. And then the other thing that's kind of annoying about him is that these pieces in the back here, especially on this side, fall off really easily. You can see the little like nubs that kind of hold it in there have kind of, worn down over time, and this is stretched out a little bit. So like they stay in place. They're not like floppy or anything, but it's very, very easy for those to just like pop off in kind of annoying times. So, whatever. But yeah, in terms of comparisons in this mode, here he is again with Sideswipe and with Waspinator, just so you can see how he stacks up with them. And here he is again with Cicadacon. We'll add Ramhorn to the mix in the next video here. But yeah, no, pretty fun figure. Like I said, I feel like the robot mode, the purple helps a lot better in the robot mode, but in the lobster mode, it's kind of, I don't think it really adds to the aesthetic. I love the kind of like, slightly pearlescent, translucent brown plastic that they use for him. And he also has a really cool head sculpt. Really, it's just that, these legs fall off every once in a while. I also didn't mention it, but these can fold up and down. So if you don't like those out to the side, you can kind of fold them behind for his robot mode. And I think that looks decent as well. But yeah. And he's got like the kind of gorilla elbows thing going on, but with a guy with like big claws, I think that bothers me a lot less, just because he's got kind of weird arms to begin with. But yeah, no, pretty cool figure. But yeah, if you enjoy my videos, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel. I do reviews every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, and make sure to tune in for my next couple of videos where I'll be taking a look at Ramhorn and then Tripredacus himself. But yeah, without further ado, here we have Transformers Beast Wars C-Clamp.